I also need to mention this as we continue along. I think I may have to return to my home state of Virginia, based on this report anyway, out of Virginia. Let's watch this.
Delegate is introducing a new bill centered around parents and how they handle their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
7 News reporter Nick Minock explains why this is controversial.
Right now, parents' rights and LGBTQ protections are a big focus in Virginia. Thousands of students in Virginia have walked out of class protesting Governor Glenn Youngkin's newly proposed model policies on the treatment of transgender students at school.
Trans rights are human rights.
And Governor Youngkin argues schools shouldn't keep parents in the dark about their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
These same progressives in Fairfax County actually believe that they should lock parents out of their children's lives. They think that parents have no right to know what your child is discussing with their teacher or their counselor.
Democratic Virginia delegate Elizabeth Guzman is a social worker, and she's planning on reintroducing a bill in Richmond that she says would help protect LGBTQ children from their parents and guardians who may not be affirming of their child's sexual orientation and gender identity.
This is how we're going to push back.
Her bill would expand the state's definition of child abuse and neglect to include parents who do not affirm their child's gender identity or sexual orientation.
There's an investigation also in place that is not only, from a social worker, but there's also a police investigation before we make the decision that there's going to be a CPS charge.
What could the penalties be if, the investigation concludes and it's concluded that a parent is not affirming of their LGBTQ child? What could the consequences be?
Well, we first have to have an investigation. It could be a felony, it could be a misdemeanor, but we know that a CPS charge could harm, your employment, could harm your education.
And Alexandria, Nick Minock, 7 News.
And Delegate Guzman tells 7 News that she is hoping to pass the bill.
Realize, of course, is that this is in Virginia, where, as we heard at the beginning there, obviously, Glenn Youngkin is the governor. So that means that this bill is not going to be signed into law right now in Virginia. But this is what they want to do. And this is what they will do, especially in blue states where they can get away with it. Make it is child abuse to not so-called affirm your gender-confused child. In 2020, there were over 1,000 significant online data breaches in the U.S., which left almost 156 million people's records exposed. That includes sensitive information related to children. Now, you wouldn't let your kids walk home from school without telling them not to talk to strangers or get into any windowless vans, or even vans with windows, actually. But you let them go online every day without a VPN? That doesn't make a lot of sense. To protect your family's privacy when they go online, you've got to use ExpressVPN. Internet service providers know every single website you visit. ISPs can sell this information to ad companies and tech giants who can then use your data to target you. Do you really want all these advertisers knowing who's in your household, what your kids like to watch, how to target them with whatever they're looking to sell? No, you probably don't. That's why ExpressVPN protects your privacy without showing your connection, no matter how many users are in your household. Unlike other VPNs, you won't even realize you have it on. It's so easy to use. Just download the app on your phone or computer, tap one button, and you're protected. No one in your family is too old or too young to figure out how to use it. Secure your family's online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show today. Use my link and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. They're already doing this in Canada. It's a couple of years ago. They declared that it's in their anti-conversion therapy bill. I think it was Bill C4 in Canada, which forbids conversion therapy. But what is conversion therapy, according to them? It is conversion therapy if you do not affirm your child's confusion. So if you have a son who is a boy and says he's a girl, and you do not immediately accept him as a girl, then you are committing conversion therapy by trying to convince him that he is what he in fact is, which is a boy. So in other words, if you do not facilitate his attempted conversion into another sex, which is impossible, then you are guilty of conversion therapy. And that's child abuse. You could lose your kid. And parents in Canada have lost their kids because of that. Now the left wants to do the same thing here in the United States. I saw someone on Twitter, I don't remember who, but they referred to this as kind of, we know on the left they had their no-fault divorce policies and for married couples. And so now what they're working on basically is a no-fault divorce of children from parents. They're looking for every way that they can to sever that relationship, sever that bond. And in the schools, they do it. They sever the bond psychologically. They sever it emotionally. They turn the child against the parent. But now they're looking for ways to do it legally. Just tear the kids away from the parents and into the arms of the state, where the state can make of them whatever they want. That's what they're looking to do. And that'll do it for us today. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Godspeed.